Yes.
And I can understand the concerns that the Honorable Member of Parliament is raising. You know, one of the things in communication, basic communication skills, is that there ought to be consistency and tightness and so on. And you don't answer questions which are not necessary.
Yeah.
You understand? So I'm sitting here and I'm wondering why the Deputy Communications Chief went to that extent. What was it meant to achieve? You understand? Because the effect of that is to create substantial doubt about the policy which Collins is exploiting to the high heavens. You understand? But let's be more substantive. Let's be more realistic. Look, optics of cancelling fuel allowance for political appointees is very, very good. Sends a very good signal. Very good political signal, and nobody can deny that. Okay. Now, what we are confronted with is a question of definitions. What is a fuel allowance? The fuel allowance, and if I'm wrong, correct me, is an allowance which is given to political appointees or office holders, government office holders, regardless of distances they travel and location and so on. If you're entitled to coupons, 50,000 a month, every month you'll be given coupons worth 50,000.
True.
Doesn't matter whether you travel to Bolgatanga or you travel to Nararegu or you travel to Yosu or so on. You are given that. That's the allowance. My understanding is that is the allowance which is being cut.
Yes.
You understand? On the other hand, if a government official is traveling from Accra to Bolgatanga maybe 3 times in a month, do you reasonably expect that he or she will pay for that fuel from his pocket? You have no pay at the end of the month. You understand what I mean? And indeed, for all of us who have worked in the civil service and the public service and so on, when I travel, when I used to work in the public service and I travel, my vehicle is fueled by the National Youth Council, which I used to work for, the Ministry of Youth and Sport Services. That is separate from the fuel allowance. So these distinctions ought to be made. I mean, if you couple all of them, you know, and so on, then you can begin to ask some very absurd questions, you know. But you see, the other point for me, which is most important, is that it is not the amount which is significant. Whether this will lead to a saving of 20 billion or 5 cedis, it's not the issue. The issue is a demonstration that, look, we acknowledge that petrol prices are going to go up and that all of us as citizens and leaders ought to bear, you know, the consequence of this increase. Then I will move from there to another area which I think is most important. And I've said that this morning. You have a power sector debt in the billions of dollars. How do we pay for it? So if you criticize the imposition of the levy, come with a suggestion as to how to retire that debt. Because criticizing the imposition of the levy is easy. You know, it doesn't take any ingenuity. It doesn't take any sense. It doesn't take any special, you know, attribute to criticize the imposition of the levy. All you have to do is that, well, it's going to impose hardship on the people. But the problem is that you have a power sector debt that you need to retire. So if you don't want us to impose that levy, how do we retire that power sector debt? That's the crucial matter. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I get it. I totally get it.
That's the power sector debt. It's staring us in the face. We may get to a point where we will not be able to generate electricity, where our industries will suffer, where mining will suffer, where agriculture will suffer, where health services will suffer. How do you retire this power sector debt, which has become a huge problem on our necks? That's the critical question.
And I'm going to talk about retiring the power sector debt and this particular levy. But Moro, you and I were here.
Right.
And I think Kwesi was here the other time. We all know that this 1 Ghana cedi is not going to be used to pay power sector debt.
How do you know that?
Yes, I know. Because the fiscal impact analysis that Dr. Atoforsen brought to us says that this 1 Ghana cedi will rake in 5.7 billion Ghana cedis annually. The minister is telling us that fuel alone, not the debt, not the accumulated debt, he needs $1 billion, which translates into 12 billion. And so that 5.7 billion alone cannot even take care of your fuel. Let alone to talk about debt.
Master, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say.
No, but Uncle,
please. I'm very sorry to say this, but I have to say it. I think you are engaged in acrobatics.
No, Uncle.
You're engaged in some verbal and mathematical.
No, I'm not at all. I'm not. Uncle.
Can I explain myself? Can I?
Absolutely.
With your permission.
Oh, yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Listen, there is an amount that we have to pay for fuel to power our plants, and there is a debt. Okay. So our actual commitment is the amount for fuel plus the debt.
Yes.
Not so. So if you institute a measure which actually takes care of your fuel consumption for the sector, is it not a measure towards retiring the debt?
Yes, to some extent.
It is.
No,
It is.
I'll also explain my point.
All those expenditures
Add up to the debt.
add up to the debt.
Yes.
All those expenditures add up to the debt. And
Right.
all those expenditures actually affect the capacity to generate power.
True.
So if you're able to take care of part of it, which is the fuel, are you not in any way contributing to the retirement of the debt?
You are, but I think his argument is that it's not substantial.
It's not even about that.
So then what is he saying? Should government have increased the 1 cedi levy?
Maybe to 2.
Because that's also an option.
Yes.
Or 5.
Yes, or 5.
If the money is not enough, then you can argue that
Yes.
they should increase the levy.
Yes, because he cites
or tax some other area
yes,
in order to generate
because he
revenue.
cites the
As
fiscal impact analysis, which is 12 billion.
No, which is 5.7.
Sorry, 5.7.
Yes.
And then we're also told
the
that will cost us
fuel alone, fuel.
Yes.
Forget about the legacy.
It's 12
debt.
billion.
It's 12 billion.
Yes.
So this alone cannot even buy fuel.
I agree.
So the argument shouldn't be that the
So
one
then the
cedi.
government has been very considerate.
No, then I'm saying that. So don't. The argument should not be that the 1 cedi is going to be paying legacy debt. It's not going to retire any of the legacy debt. In fact, as we speak now,
It is not enough.
Uncle, I'm coming.
What you're saying
Uncle,
is that
enough.
it is not enough.
Uncle, I'm saying that even as we speak now,
Yeah.
because of the take or pay, debt is compounded.
Yes.
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
So that 1 Ghana cedi you are charging now will not stop the debt compounding.
But you're making a fantastic
It's not.
point.
It's not.
Honorable.
That's the point I'm making.
Honorable, you're making a fantastic
Yes.
point. Do you know the point you're making? The point you're making is that the 1 cedi levy which is imposed on petroleum products, it is not even enough
Yes, woefully inadequate.
to solve the problem.
Yes.
So what is the solution? Increase the levy?
That is
Or
what I'm
tax something else?
No.
That's the point you're making.
No,
So
I'm
you're
saying-
not saying that
I'm
that
saying
levy
that- I'm saying
should
that-
not be imposed.
No.
You're saying
No,
that
I'm
levy
busy.
is insufficient.
I'm busy.
That's the point you're making.
But Collins, let me ask you this. If you
Oh,
don't...
oh, let's
but
not-
Collins, let me
Let
ask
me
you this.
conclude my statement.
Okay,
You
sure,
understand
please.
where I'm coming
Please
from?
do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying that the argument shouldn't be that we have some debt and that this 1 Ghana cedi is coming to help us pay the debt. No. What really will help us pay the debt is when we go back to renegotiate the IPPs,
Yes.
which I'm all for. Which the minister has come to parliament to talk about a reform, and I'm completely with the minister.
Collins.
I am completely with the minister.
Collins.
We have to deal with that major problem of renegotiating our IPPs. The minister started some reforms at ECG, completely with him. Now the cash water flow mechanism is bringing in more money than we used to have. Fantastic.
Collins.
That is.
Collins.
Oh, I'm going to say,
When you
if I
came
come,
to
if I
power.
come,
When you came to power and stayed in power for 8 years,
some of them were done.
you promised us that we are going to renegotiate the IPP.
Some were completed.
You promised us.
Some were completed.
We gave you power. We gave you authority for 8 years
I'm going to say,
to renegotiate the IPPs. Show us the result.
I'm going to say,
Then
some,
that is still compounding.
I'm going to say,
Hold on, please.
yeah, if you allow me to, I would have understood where I'm coming from.
Hold on. So you had power for 8 years to renegotiate the IPPs. We are still here. The debt is compounding. Look, me, and you can check my record. I was vehemently opposed to the privatization of all aspects of power generation in this country.
Yes, consistently.
I was opposed to it because it didn't make sense. This independent power producers thing is absolute nonsense. There's no reason why the VRA and other state institutions could not continue to generate power for our consumption. You understand? No reason whatsoever. But we decided to do it, and we reformed the power sector completely. Made VRA only responsible for hydro generation, brought in IPPs and so on, decoupled ECG, we created this other Gridco
yes.
and so on. Created a mess, created a complete mess. All of this restructuring that we did under the marching orders of the IMF and the World Bank, where has it taken us? It has taken us to the point of crisis where today we face the possibility of a shutdown of power generation. So I'm opposed to all this IPP stuff and so on.
Okay.
You know, I'm not supporting it. I'm opposed to it. You understand? But the point I'm making is that given our current regime, given our current situation, what do we do concretely to help us retire this ballooning debt? Your argument is that what we are going to generate from the imposition of a 1 cedi levy would not be enough. And I agree with you, it will not be enough. The Minister of Finance says that it will not be enough. Now, if it will not be enough, the question to pose then is that what do we do to generate enough resources to retire the debt, to pay for fuel, and to make sure that we can continue to generate power?
And just for information, Kwesi, the new ECG tariff increment, for the first time, they've included alternative fuel as part of the tariff adjustments.
I've seen that.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes, but some
I've seen
2.7%.
that, you know.
But Enokrano
No,
says not.
the 2.7% is the general figure.
Yes.
But about 30% of that
Yes.
has been included
Exactly.
in the electricity
But
tariff adjustments.
it's a modest start, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm just
I
for
get it.
information.
I get it. No, I
because
know
this,
that.
I don't
It's a
even
modest
think
start.
yeah.
that the president will disagree with you or the energy minister will disagree with you when you say that the levy is not sufficient to completely retire the debt.
Yes.
Who will disagree with you? Nobody. But then if it is not sufficient, you don't poo-poo the measure. What you do is to ask the question, how can we then generate sufficient resources to give us guaranteed supply of power? That's the question.
No, but Uncle C, I don't think he's poo-pooed the measure. I think his point, and if I understand him, I think his point is that let's set the record straight.
Absolutely.
Let's not tell the public
Yes.
that this 1 cedi per liter
Is to pay
is
legacy
meant
debt.
to pay the legacy debt.
It's
This is woefully
meant
inadequate.
to help pay the legacy. You understand?
So,
It's meant to help.
I think that's better.
But lawyer,
More out.
lawyer for all.
But Kwesi, as for the,
I think that's where.
yes,
That's where.
Kwesi, the
Yeah.
IPP negotiations,
Yes.
it is something that must be, and I'm happy when the minister made mention of it, even in the budget,
Yes.
that they intend to continue.
Yeah.
There were some who were very close to concluding, some we concluded. So I think that the focus really should go to that aspect of this whole energy crisis. Now again, it's about the gas. I'm happy. We started the process of getting a second gas processing plant. We couldn't conclude.
Yeah.
When this minister came, he set up a committee to do it. I spoke on radio. And I said, it's fantastic. Because when you get the gas, it will help you to take away almost 50%
True.
of the cost of fuel. Just 2 days ago, he and I completed their maintenance work. It has increased the gas supply. I'm hearing Talo also wants to increase their gas supply. Because when all these ones come on stream, even the $1 billion that you need to buy the fuel, you may not need all.
True.
Because then there will be a lot of gas. I'm saying the focus should be in those areas. Because if you continue to say you are levying,
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Knowing very well that the levying will not even help you to pay off even 1/3 of the debt. So you are just overburdening.
No, it's a fair point.
The Ghanaian people. You're overburdening the Ghanaian people. That's the point I'm making. So let's refocus our attention. You see, and that's why on the floor I said, I'm not for this levy. Because I think that it will not solve the problem your memorandum is talking about. It will not. It will only burden the Ghanaian people. The focus for me, and as I said on the floor of Parliament, is that what we started, we finished some. Quickly complete those negotiations, renegotiations. ECG was with us at a committee. They said, Mr. Members, if ECG is completely efficient, 100% efficient, they collect all their money, everything, they'll still make a loss.
True.
Why? Because where they are buying the power from, it's more expensive. And that is where I think we should go to and see how best we can change that narrative.
When there are problems, especially when there are big problems,
right,
there's what is called the stopgap measure or measures. They are not the solution to the problem, but they give you some respite. Okay? So you can look at problem solving, from two angles.
Right.
Stopgap measures and measures which will permanently, to a very large extent, resolve the problem that you have.
Right.
I see this levy as a stopgap measure. You understand? This levy is only a stopgap measure. On a permanent basis, we have to rethink our whole energy, architecture. That's what we need to do. And I've heard, from President Kufuor's time up to now, some conversations about building a nuclear plant and so on. That fits into rethinking of the whole energy, architecture.